But I want to introduce my next guest. She's here, Kris Ashley. Now I need to make you a co-host so you can do your slides. So 2 seconds. Now I just have to find you on the list. Yeah, all the speakers today, I've been blown away. Everyone is different and everyone is fantastic. Like I'm getting something out of it myself. Uh-oh. Kris, co-host. Right. Now, come on down, Kris Ashley. Where are you now? I think you're at the top of the list. Okay, if you can unmute, come on down, Kris Ashley. You are my next guest.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. That was so beautiful. I caught the last part of it. Yeah, I'm really excited, everyone. Thanks for being here. Amazing lineup, incredible event that you've put on. So
Thank
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick here. And make sure I share sound because I have a little video too. And let's have some fun. All right. Let me just pull the chat down. Okay. Um, awesome. So do me a favor really quick and type yes in the chat if you can hear me right now. I want to make sure that the chat's working. I want to make sure that my microphone's working. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you. So I want you to take your hands, hold them up, and then place them on your keyboard. Stay interactive with me. I'm going to ask you questions to respond in the chat with. This is going to be really interactive. And the way that you're really going to absorb information and hang on to it and learn from it is to stay engaged, to stay active. And also, we're going to do a journaling exercise together towards the end of this. So I like having an actual like journal or piece of paper and pen, but you can also have notes on your computer or your phone, but just be prepared to write. I just want to give that little shout out in the beginning. All right. So this is going to be my 4-step framework for manifesting the life of your dreams. And you're going to leave with an action plan for manifesting the life of your dreams. You're going to know what the life of your dreams looks like. So if you're like, I don't even know what that is, you're going to have an idea and you'll have a step-by-step plan for achieving it. So type yes in the chat if that sounds good to you, and then we will get going. Cool. We got some people game. Let's do it. All right. First, we're going to bring it down a little bit. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Allow your eyelids to heavy shut. Sit up really tall in your seat. Let your shoulders rinse away from your ears. Now, I want you to imagine that you are the picture of health, love, joy, and happiness. You have a special someone in your life who is compassionate and loving and the perfect match for you. You are passionate about your work and you have a paycheck that makes you feel comfortable and secure. You are hitting every personal and professional milestone that's important to you. You laugh a lot. You are surrounded by people who cheer you on, love you, and truly want the best for you. You have free time and enough free money so you can pursue any hobby that sparks your soul. You no longer hold grudges against anyone, and you've released any limiting beliefs that were really holding you back. You are at peace. You love your reflection in the mirror, and you feel confident in your own skin. And anytime a challenge comes your way, you know exactly what to do to handle it with grace and ease and spin it into something positive that ends up helping you out in the long run. Life is good. All right, go ahead and flutter your eyes back open. Now, I want you to ask yourself, does that sound like a description of my current life? And if it does, that's amazing. I am so happy for you. That is what every person on this planet is worthy of and deserving of. But if it doesn't, is there a little voice in the back of your head that's telling you that's impossible? No one can achieve all that, or at least not me. Or maybe your mind immediately jumps to all the ways that you're lacking, not worthy, or even suffering. Type yes in the chat if you relate to any of that. And by the way, the chat is a safe space. What happens in the chat stays in the chat. I'm pretty sure even if this gets recording sent out, the chat is not part of it. Yeah, thanks so much for your vulnerability, everyone. So, if this doesn't sound like your current life or you're thinking any of those thoughts, don't worry, you are not alone. So, psychologists estimate that 70 to 90% of people's thoughts are negative and repetitive. Now, this presentation today is going to give you a way out. It's going to help you apply a simple formula to help you manifest the life of your dreams by helping you align your thoughts and your actions and thus your reality. And spoiler alert, it works every time. Now, I'm going to start off by making a radical statement, although maybe with this group it's not so radical. So, we live in an intelligent universe that knows how to do and deliver everything that we have ever dreamed of. Now, quantum physics even backs this up. It says that in the quantum field exists every possible timeline. So, everything you can imagine and everything you can't exists out there in a state of rest, just waiting for you to choose it. Now, this has proven true time and time again throughout my life, and I believe it so deeply in my core, but I did not used to think this way at all. So, a little bit of my story, and yeah, that's me at 12 years old, smoking a cigarette in a ripped shirt holding a horse. That's like the most badass picture I could find. So, when I was 12, I went through trauma that really impacted my life for many years. I was sexually abused by a family member for 4 years. And when my really big, tight knit, extended family found out about it, many of them disowned me. And this left me with severe PTSD, a horrible self image. I was incredibly insecure. I had a lot of low vibration emotions like anger and guilt and shame that as a young adolescent, I didn't know how to cope with, right? Like most adults don't know how to cope with those types of emotions. Type yes in the chat if you've ever gone through something that left you with a lot of low vibration emotions or emotional turmoil in any kind of way. Yeah, and totally. I'm seeing a lot of yeses because we're all humans, right? We're all having this human experience, and unfortunately, that's part of it. So for me, the shift happened in 2002 when someone handed me a book, and it completely changed how I thought about the world. It changed my way of thinking, of being, of understanding the universe and life and the way things kind of work together. And I remember turning the pages, and it hit me so hard that it felt like the truth. And like a sleeper agent, something inside of me woke up. Type yes in the chat if you've ever come across some new knowledge or teaching that totally expanded your worldview. Maybe it happened here today on this summit with one of these amazing speakers. Oh my gosh, is that the Alani that I know? That's really fun. Hi, Alani, if it is. So for me, it changed me forever. Yeah, The Secret. It's good to see you, Alani. So when I finished it, I started reaching for more. And I became insatiable. I was devouring every metaphysical, spiritual, personal development book that I could get my hands on. I was attending seminars, workshops, retreats. I was finding all these teachers to study under. I tried healing modalities. Like I thought I was uncovering the secrets of the universe, but really I was doing a lot of hard inner work too. And my life became one big quest to learn, grow, heal, expand every aspect of myself. But as I started to change my mind and get better, my mother began to get worse because her family had been ripped down the seams. And she started to get physically sick with both serious illnesses and really weird afflictions that her doctors couldn't really explain. And so they did what they do. They gave her pills, and then they gave her pills for the side effects of those pills. And she was sleeping for all but a few hours of daylight. She was on a fentanyl patch. She was on a bunch of different medications. She would fall down all the time. She would fall asleep at the dinner table. She would forget conversations that we had just had. And this lasted almost 15 years. And I had this compounded guilt that I had both destroyed my family and broken my mother down. But in the end, it was my mother who had become my biggest teacher, I realized. Type yes in the chat if you've ever realized someone was your teacher later on. You're like, oh, that's what that was about. For me, that was my mother. A lot of times it's the people that kind of like create a little friction in your life too, right? So, for every step my mother took deeper into depression and illness and victimization, I climbed hand over hand in the other direction out of that tunnel because I was seeing firsthand in front of me what happens to a human body and spirit when they make that choice, right? Because I really do believe it's a choice. And then I saw what was happening to my own body and spirit as I decided to change my mind. Now, I'm happy to say today I'm confident in who I am. I love my life, but I think most importantly, I move confidently through life knowing that I can design the life that I want. Now, I share my story not to brag in any kind of way, but in the hopes that maybe someone out there can be inspired and know that you can rise out of your own ashes and you don't have to be your past. Your past does not dictate your future unless you decide it does. So after doing this self-study for a couple decades, I decided I wanted to share what I learned. I took a life coach training with Mary Morrissey. She was one of 3 people mentored by the late, great Bob Proctor. If you know who Bob Proctor is, just type yes in the chat. If you don't, go look him up. Write it down, go look him up after. He's like incredible. I wrote a book. It's called Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality. And I think Dee at some point is going to drop the link in here for you. It was endorsed by some pretty amazing people. That's 3 people from The Secret. So Bob Doyle, Marcy Shimoff, Michael Beckwith. You could see them on the screen with their secret backgrounds. Also John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, Anita Moorjani. Oh, there's the link. Thank you so much. Okay, so I saw a couple people mention The Secret in the chat, and I just mentioned The Secret. But type yes in the chat if you've heard of the law of attraction. And I think most of us in this space have at this point, but yeah, nice. You're my people. I love it. In case you haven't, don't worry. Here's a simple definition. The law of attraction is a universal law that says you will attract into your life whatever you focus on. So when you focus your energy and attention on what you want rather than what you don't want, you will attract that thing to you. And I'm going to share with you today one of the exercises that really helped me change my life and manifest the life of my dreams. So, a lot of people have heard about the law of attraction, as we just saw in the chat, especially from books and films like The Secret. And we are so lucky that we live in this age of information where this spiritual knowledge is just easily attainable at our fingertips. And I love The Secret and other books and movies like that who've brought the law of attraction to the masses. I just told you a bunch of people from The Secret endorsed my book. But I think it's missing some key points. And the way that I see the law of attraction taught online a lot of times, I think it's missing some key points because the universe isn't this genie in a bottle where you can just like kick back, put your feet up, and just like wait for whatever you spoke out into the ether to fall into your lap. From my experience, the law of attraction doesn't work unless you follow this simple formula. And just type yes. Oh yeah, Neville Goddard's work too, totally. Type yes in the chat if you've tried to use the law of attraction and it hasn't worked for you before. Just out of curiosity. I've never asked that question. Okay, so this is my 4-step framework for manifesting your dream life. We're going to go through it and then we're going to do it together. And it worked in the wrong way. Interesting. Yeah, sometimes you got to be really specific, right? All right. I'd love to hear more about that. Okay, so this is the eagle eye view and then we'll dive deep into each of these. So 4-step framework for manifesting the life of your dreams. Step 1, get really clear on your vision. Step 2, feel the emotions of having it already. Step 3, take action towards it. Step 4, don't worry about the how. All right, so let's go into the visualize your dream life. I'm going to share a little video. Hopefully the sound works. If it doesn't, let me know in the chat right away.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
Type yes in the chat if you saw the moonwalking bear the first time. I did not see it the first time I saw that video. Someone did. Very cool. Okay, nice. You're one of the rare people. If you didn't see it, you're one of the 99%. Let's talk about why that happens. So there's a part of our brain, yeah, but only because I've seen those before. Yeah, for sure. Missed it the first time. Thanks for your honesty. Okay, so let's talk about why that happens. There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, also for short, the RAS. And it's a part of our brain that allows us to focus on certain bits of information because our five senses are constantly getting bombarded by trillions of pieces of information. And if we tried to focus on all of those at once, like we would go crazy. We couldn't do it. You know, you couldn't focus on a moonwalking bear and a basketball at the same time right now. So the RAS tells our brain what to focus on. It highlights certain bits of information. It brings them into the forefront. It's like, have you ever wanted like a new car or something and then suddenly you see them everywhere? It's because your brain is suddenly like wired to notice them. That's the RAS at work. So the problem is most people focus on what they don't want instead of what they do want. So type yes in the chat if you've ever been downhill skiing or whitewater rafting before. If you have, you might know that if you're downhill skiing and you're focusing on the trees, you're going to hit a tree. If you're whitewater rafting and you focus on the rocks, you're going to hit a rock and capsize. So instead, you need to focus on the path between the trees, the water between the rocks. And in the same way, it's about focusing on what you do want rather than what you don't want. Because what you focus on becomes your reality. Now, only 1% of the population writes down their goals. So if you just do this one thing, you're already going to be ahead of 99% of people, and you are definitely going to be writing down your goals tonight. All right, step 2, feel the emotions of having it already. So this is the key to using the law of attraction. The reason this works is we have to match the frequency of the thing we want. And frequency has kind of become this buzzword we see thrown around on social media, but I like to use it interchangeably with emotion. So we can't create our new life if we're working from the same frequency of the life we have now. Something has to shift. And the universe is like the Facebook algorithm. Whatever you get emotional about and put your attention on, it goes, oh, they like that. I'm going to send a little bit more of that their way, whether it's positive or negative. So when you feel an emotion like gratitude for something that you don't even have yet, it puts you into a future state and it tricks your brain into believing that you've already received it. So it automatically puts you on a higher frequency. It's kind of one of the best hacks to do this. Step 3, take action steps towards it. This is so important. Action awakens something within the universe. You start to create a tiny bit of movement, and the universe responds with this building momentum and takes it over from there, and it whooshes you further and forward faster than you could have possibly imagined. And oftentimes it doesn't even have to be huge movements on your part. You know, sometimes just taking a small step can put a chain of events into motion. You know, from one small step, new ideas might flow to you. You might meet new people who can help you. New opportunities can present themselves. That one small step might put you in the perfect position to achieve your dream. Now, there's always something you can do to lead you one step closer to the life of your dreams. You are never so stuck in one place that there's no way out and nothing you can do. All right, step 4, and then we're going to get into it. So let go of the how. And sometimes this is the hardest part. It's kind of like a trust fall. It's trusting wholeheartedly and having not a single doubt in your mind that what you're attracting is coming to you. And sometimes the universe delivers in very unexpected ways. Your current circumstances do not dictate the direction of your life in the future, just like your past doesn't, right? So forget about any current circumstances that you think might prevent you from getting your thing, no matter how dire they might seem. So whether that's your education level or your finances or where you live, whatever it might be in your mind. And then don't worry about how it's going to happen because it's not up to you how it happens. It is up to you to decide what you want, to tune yourself into that frequency, to take steps towards what you want, and then to just trust wholeheartedly that it's going to happen for you, and then to just relinquish control. Now, oftentimes we get the thing we're manifesting in a way that we could have never imagined. Things you thought were impossible become possible. And the universe will rearrange everything in your path in order for it to open up before you. So once you make a decision and take action towards the life of your dreams, the universe will move barriers out of your way. The right people will appear in your life to help you. Doors that didn't even exist will appear and unlock. You'll heal what needs to be healed. Circumstances will completely rearrange around you. Now, as human beings, we tend to overcomplicate things. Type yes in the chat if you've ever overcomplicated something, and I'm like completely guilty of this too. It's like we think A needs to happen, then B, then C, right? Or we think we need to make $100,000 this year in order to make $200,000 next year. But the truth is, the universe can jump us very quickly from A to Z. All right, so let's try an exercise together. So get out your journal, your paper, your Word document, whatever works for you. If you're in a journal, use 7 different pages. I'm going to give you 7 different categories, and this is a multi-part exercise. And we're going to get through as much as we can together tonight, but you're going to have the framework for it. So if you don't get to everything that you wanted to, you can take this home and do it by yourself later. And I do it every 6 months or so, just to kind of like re-up. Like Dee said, we're always changing, right? Not the same person we were in January. Okay, so on the top of each piece of paper, you're going to write one of these categories. So they're listed right there. So there's health on page 1. Page 2 is romance, relationships, career, leisure, personal growth, tangibles. So next to each one of these, we're going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. And based on your current circumstances right now. So 1 is it's horrible, it's miserable, like you can't go on. This is like as low as it gets. 10 is everything is amazing and perfect. Like you could not imagine this category improving anymore. So just take a moment and go ahead and do that. So you'll just have your category and then a number assigned to it. And just be honest with yourself. We're doing this because we're establishing a baseline, and then you get to rate it again later and see how it's changed. I'll just give you like another moment to do that. And then let me know in the chat, was anyone surprised by the number that they rated something? Because I've done similar exercises. This is one that I've created myself based on a bunch of different things, but there have been times in the past where I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize that, that was so rough. All right. So now we have these 7 categories and we have a number rating of each. So under each one, I want you to make a bullet pointed list of what would make that category a 10. So if you rated relationships a 2, you're going to write a bullet pointed list of everything you would need to make it a 10. And you're going to do that for each one. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do it. But again, if you don't get through all of them, you have this framework. You can do it later. I can't remember if there's a replay. Oh yeah, tangible. I'm so glad you said that. Let me scoot back and go through these really quick. Appreciate you, Wilma. I got so excited. Okay, so health is everything. Yeah, so there's a replay. You can always come back to this. So health is anything related to your health. It could be physical health, mental health, emotional health, whatever you want, but all encompassing too. Romance is any relationship with a romantic partner in your life. Relationships are any relationships that aren't romantic. So it could be with your employees, the public, your neighbors, your peers, your coworkers, your family. Career is what you do for work. If you're retired, you could say, what you do to fill your free time. If you do volunteer work, if you're in school, it could be about school. Leisure are your hobbies. So it's how you spend your free time and your free money. Personal growth is how you're growing as a human being. So maybe it's, when we get to the categories, maybe it's something like meditating every day or reading 10 books a month or whatever it is. And intangibles is anything you can touch. So it could be a car, a house, it could be a pet dog. Um, yeah, so thank you, Wilma, for asking. Okay. So if you need to change your rating based on that, let me know, or go ahead and do it. And then go ahead and make your bullet pointed list of what would make it a 10 for each category. And I'm just going to give you a couple minutes so we can at least get a few categories each, and then you'll have a good framework to go off of. I feel like the next time I do this, I need to have like background music playing so people can work with some music. Now, as you're doing this, I just want to also say, like, dream as big as you can, right? List as many things as you want. Don't hold back. Put it in as many details as possible. Feel the emotions of what it would be like to have those things as you're doing this. Basically, suspend your disbelief. There's this amazing quote that says you can't analyze and create at the same time. So if you're thinking about what you can't have or don't have right now, you're not going to be in that creative flow. And this is the part where we're really focusing on the vision. Can we put in a particular date? Yeah, totally. For now, just do this step, but yeah, that's like a later step for sure. Okay, for the sake of time, I want to make sure we get on time for the next speaker. You can finish this later, but the next step is to create or to list out a few steps of what you could do right now to take you in the direction of that dream. So we're going to focus on the action part. So if moving to a new city is one of the things that would make your list a 10, maybe a step you could take is to start looking at job listings in that city, or to start looking at real estate, or to, maybe go visit there. If finding a romantic partner is on your list, maybe an action step you could take right now is to join a dating app, or to start saying yes to more invitations, or to start going places that you don't normally go. If getting a pet dog is on your list, that would make it a 10, which I highly recommend. Maybe you start looking at shelters or breeders. There's, again, never underestimate the power of a small step, right? Like sometimes research, sometimes making an email or a phone call is a small step that can lead to really big advancements, right? And as you're thinking of this, it's not once you have something. It's not like once you pay off your credit card, or your kids go to college, or you take some course. It's what can you do right now with what you have available? Like with the tools in your toolbox, what step can you take? All right. Now, I don't want you to just leave here inspired. I want you to leave here activated. So this is a little unconventional during a speech, but I want you to take out your cell phone for a minute. And if you're like me, you live by your calendar. So I want you to open your calendar app. And if you're like old school, go find your calendar. But I want you to make an appointment with yourself. Book time this coming week to take one of these action steps. So whatever it is, make the phone call, do the research, send the cold email, post the content, whatever it is. I want you to book that first step with yourself. And then the most important part is to keep that appointment with yourself. Don't use that time to scroll social media, or take the dog for a walk, or take a nap, or whatever it is. Make the appointment with yourself, keep it, and take that first step towards the dream of your life, the life of your dreams. And then please let me know how it goes. Here's where you can connect with me. I'm Change Your Mind with Kris on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I think Dee put the link to my book in there a couple of times. I would love to hear how this worked for you, and any questions you have, you're so welcome to reach out. And I know we're a minute over, so I'm going to go ahead and end. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to be here with you tonight.
Thanks, Kris. It's been fabulous. Now, it looks like my next speaker, I could be missing in action. So if you want us to go a little bit longer, finish off, you can. I'm just tracking them down.
Here, I can go in and see. Oh, Jeopardy music plays. Yes, I love it. My toddler sings the Jeopardy song like all day long. What do you mean by make it a 10? So that's a great question. So in the beginning, you rated it on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So there was obviously something that you were thinking that made you rate it a 2 or a 4 or a 7. So on the other hand, it's like, what would make you rate it a 10? What do you need in that category in your life to be at a 10? Hopefully that helps. Any other questions while Dee is trying to find her speaker? Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly, Melody. Exactly. What you feel you would need to make it a 10. And then the next step is figuring out an action step that you can do right now to move yourself in that direction and using the tools you have. Hey, there have been people who have won the lottery multiple times too. You just have to believe it. Yeah, absolutely. I hope you found it helpful. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jose Silva's work. He's amazing. He has this great book, what is called You the Healer. But he teaches self-hypnosis, and it's kind of similar, but it's amazing. But he had a secretary that worked for him, and she won the lottery like 6 times, and she won like every contest she ever entered because she understood how to do these things. So check out You the Healer.
All right, Kris.